Yeah!
It was past midnight in Boston, the kind of night where the streets fall silent and even the city feels like it's holding its breath. Lily lay in bed, scrolling through her phone, fighting sleep when the screen lit up. One name glowed in the dark. Mom. Her hand froze mid-scroll. The air in the room seemed to thicken, pressing against her chest. For a moment, she thought it had to be a mistake. A glitch, maybe even a wrong number. But the name was unmistakable. The number was unmistakable. Her mother's number. The one she had refused to delete. The one she couldn't delete. Because her mother had been dead for 2 years. Her thumb hovered over the screen as the phone buzzed in her hand. The ringtone filled the silence, each note cutting like a blade. She couldn't breathe. Her heart pounded against her ribs. Part of her wanted to throw the phone across the room. Part of her needed to answer. She told herself not to do it. Don't answer. Don't you dare! The phone buzzed harder. The name still glowed. Mom. Her throat tightened. Her thumb slipped. The call connected. For one long second, there was only silence. Then she heard it. Lily. Her mother's voice. Perfect, soft, gentle. Come outside. Lily's entire body went cold. She couldn't move, couldn't think. Her mother's voice wasn't distorted. Wasn't robotic. It was flawless, alive. As though she were standing right outside the door. Her grip loosened. The phone slid from her trembling hands and hit the floor with a crack. She didn't pick it up. She didn't dare. For minutes that stretched into hours, she sat frozen, staring at the fallen phone. The call had ended, but the sound of that voice kept replaying in her head. She had heard recordings of her mom before, voicemails, videos. She had wept through them countless times, but this wasn't the past. This wasn't memory. This was live. This was her mom speaking now. And that was impossible. Finally, with shaking fingers, she reached down, lifted the phone, and unlocked the screen. No missed calls, no call history. It was as if it had never happened. But she had heard it. She knew she had. Come outside. The words echoed in her skull. She told herself not to look. She told herself it wasn't real. But her body betrayed her. Her feet carried her to the window. Her hand yanked back the curtain, and her eyes scanned the street below. Nothing. No one. Just a dead, empty street lit by a flickering lamp. She tried to convince herself it was a dream. A hallucination. Maybe she had finally cracked under the weight of grief. Maybe her brain wanted her mom back so badly that it created the illusion. But she knew better. That voice hadn't come from inside her head. It had come from the phone, from her mom's number, and it had asked her to come outside. The night dragged on, endless and suffocating. Every creak in the floorboards made her jump. Every gust of wind against the window made her heart race. Sleep was impossible. By the time dawn crept across the city, her eyes burned from exhaustion, but she couldn't stop staring at the phone, waiting, dreading. When the sun finally rose, she told herself it was over. Just a glitch, a dream, something explainable, until the phone lit up again. The same name, Mom. She didn't answer this time. She let it ring, once, twice, 3 times. Then the voicemail notification appeared. With shaking hands, she pressed play. The voice was soft, calm, familiar. Lily, why didn't you answer? I'm waiting outside. The phone slipped again, nearly crashing to the floor. Her body convulsed with panic. This wasn't a dream. This wasn't her imagination. This was real. She backed into the corner of the room, clutching the phone as if it might bite her. Her stomach twisted, bile rising. She wanted to scream, but her voice caught in her throat. The voicemail ended. Silence swallowed the room. Then the screen lit up again. Another call, same name. Her mother's voice whispered through the speaker. Sweet as poison. Come outside. The next morning, Lily sat at the kitchen table with her roommate, Sarah. The phone lay between them like a weapon. its black screen reflecting their pale faces. Lily hadn't slept. Her eyes were bloodshot, her hands trembling around the coffee mug she couldn't drink from. Sarah raised an eyebrow. "You're telling me your dead mom called you?" Lily didn't answer. She just tapped the phone. "Check the voicemail." With a sigh, Sarah leaned in. "Fine." She pressed play. The kitchen filled with a voice. Soft, familiar, impossible. "Lily, why didn't you answer?" "I'm waiting outside." Sarah's mug slipped from her fingers and shattered on the floor. That's your mom," she whispered, color draining from her face. Lily nodded, her throat too tight to speak. Sarah scrambled for logic. It's a scam. A deep fake. AI, something. But they both knew it wasn't. The tone, the cadence, the warmth, this was no imitation. It was her. Sarah grabbed the phone. "Wait, what time was this?" Lily hesitated. 12:37. Sarah pulled up the building security app, scrubbing through last night's footage. The hallway outside their apartment was normal until the clock struck. 12:37. The screen turned to static. White noise. No sound, no picture. When the video resumed, the hallway was empty. Sarah's hand shook as she set the phone down. "That's not possible." Lily swallowed hard. She said she was waiting outside. They both turned slowly toward the front door. For a long, suffocating minute, neither of them breathed. Then Lily whispered, "She's not gone." That night, Lily couldn't resist. At exactly 12:37, the phone lit up again. She answered, hit record, and held her breath. "Lily," the voice whispered, "you can't ignore me forever." The recording captured every syllable. No distortion, no static. Perfectly clear. She ended the call with shaking hands. Her body trembled, but her mind raced. She uploaded the clip online. She needed answers. She needed proof she wasn't insane. By morning, the video had gone viral. Millions watched. Millions shared. The comments flooded in. "This is staged. AI prank. I lost my mom last year. If this is fake, it's cruel." Then one comment stopped her cold. "Look closer. She's still talking when you're not." Lily replayed the video, this time with headphones. At first it was her mom's words, soft and pleading. But in the quiet gaps, when Lily should have been silent, she heard it. A whisper, her name, over and over. "Lily, Lily, Lily." Her skin prickled. The whispers weren't part of the main voice. They were layered beneath it, like something hiding in the static, leaking through. She yanked off the headphones and gasped for air. Sarah stormed into the room. "You've got to take that video down now." But Lily shook her head. "No, people need to hear this. Someone knows what's happening. Someone has to." Sarah grabbed the phone. "And what if it's not your mom?" "What if it's something else?" Lily's chest tightened. She wanted to argue, but deep down she knew Sarah was right. The voice was too perfect, too patient, too hungry. That night, the call came again. This time, Lily answered on speaker so Sarah could hear. The voice was sharp now, impatient. "Lily, don't make me wait. I know where you are." Sarah's eyes widened. She slapped her hand over the phone and hung up, her pulse racing. "That's not your mom. That's not anyone human." Lily's hands shook uncontrollably. Her skin was pale, her lips trembling. "Then what is it?" The phone buzzed again. Another voicemail. Lily pressed play before Sarah could stop her. The voice laughed. "Low, cold, wrong. You think I'm your mother? I'm not. But I sound just like her, don't I?" The message ended. The silence that followed was worse than the voice. Sarah whispered, "We need to leave." But Lily just stared at the phone, her expression hollow. Because in her heart she knew, no matter where they went, the voice would find her. By the third night, Lily's nerves were shredded. The apartment lights stayed on. Every curtain drawn tight, but fear still crept into every corner. Sarah begged her to ignore the phone, to block the number, to smash it if she had to. But when 12:37 a.m. arrived, the phone lit up. Lily's hand moved before she could stop herself. She answered. The voice was different now. No longer soft, no longer gentle. "Lily, don't make me wait." Her pulse hammered in her throat. "Who are you?" The line hissed with static, then the voice chuckled. "I'm your mother." "No, you're not." The voice lowered, sharp, deliberate. "I know where you are." Her breath caught. She dropped the phone onto the bed, her whole body shaking. Sarah snatched it up and slammed the call off. "This thing is watching us," Sarah hissed. "It knows." Lily's eyes were wet, wild. "How? How does it know?" The next morning, Lily took the phone to a repair shop. She bought a brand new device, new SIM, new number. She left the old one behind like a cursed relic. Relief washed over her. A fresh start. A clean slate. That night, she placed the new phone on the nightstand and tried to sleep. At exactly 12:37, the screen lit up. Her blood turned to ice. The caller ID glowed with one word. "Mom." She answered with trembling fingers. "Lily." The voice was sharper now, clipped, like it had studied her reactions. "Running won't help. I'll always find you." The phone slipped from her grasp, clattering onto the floor. She didn't pick it up. Sarah bolted upright in bed, staring at the glowing screen. "This thing followed you to a new phone?" "That's not possible." But it was. The calls weren't tied to the number. They were tied to her. By the fourth night, Lily was unraveling. Dark circles shadowed her eyes. She jumped at every sound. The constant fear gnawed at her until she felt hollow, frayed. But what broke her wasn't the calls. It was what the voice began to say. Memories. Things only her mother could have known. "Remember the pink sweater you lost in 5th grade? I found it under your bed. You cried for hours. Remember the night you broke your wrist in the treehouse? I carried you inside. You screamed the whole way." Each detail was perfect, each memory real. Sarah shook her head in disbelief. "No AI can know that. That's not in the cloud. That's not on some tape. That's inside your life." The voice was learning, growing, reaching deeper. Every night it adapted, twisting its tone, finding the words that cut deepest. Until finally Lily whispered into the phone, her voice breaking, "If you're not her, then what are you?" The answer came in a whisper, low and cold. "I'm what's left when the dead don't stay quiet." The calls grew relentless. Not just at midnight, not just once. They came in waves, morning, afternoon, evening. Always the same number, always the same voice. Sarah tried everything, firewalls, blockers, carrier changes. Nothing worked. The voice always found a way through. One night, after hours of silence, the phone buzzed again. Lily lifted it with shaking hands. But this time it wasn't her mother's tone at all. It was her own voice, screaming, then laughing, then whispering, "I'm already inside." The line went dead. Sarah grabbed the phone and hurled it against the wall. Plastic cracked, glass shattered, sparks spat from the broken screen. But as the fragments scattered across the floor, the faint glow of the shattered display lit up one final word, "Mom." The pieces buzzed with a sound too familiar. "Come outside." Lily's hands clutched her ears. Her scream tore through the apartment, raw and desperate. The voice wasn't just calling anymore. The voice was becoming her. By the 5th day, Lily was barely holding herself together. Her hands shook constantly. She hadn't eaten more than a few bites of food. Every creak of the apartment made her flinch. Sarah finally snapped. "We're going to the phone company. We're tracing this thing. I don't care what it takes." Lily nodded weakly. She didn't believe anything would help anymore. But she couldn't keep drowning in the silence between calls. At the carrier's office, the clerk, a bored-looking man in his 30s, typed at his computer, glancing at the number Lily scribbled down. "You're sure this is the one?" he asked. "Yes," Lily croaked. Her throat felt raw, like she'd been screaming all night. The man typed again, then froze. His face drained of color. "Miss," he said carefully, "this number was disconnected 3 years ago." Lily's stomach dropped. The clerk continued, voice trembling. "It was registered to your mother." Sarah grabbed Lily's arm, pulling her back. "We're leaving. Right now." But Lily's knees buckled. Her mother's number. Disconnected the year she died. Still calling. Still alive somehow on the other end. Her chest tightened and she couldn't breathe. The voice had told her it knew where she was. And now she believed it. That night, Lily sat with the phone clutched in her hand. Her eyes were wild, her body trembling, but she couldn't let go. At 12:37, the screen lit up. "Mom." Sarah begged her not to answer. She even tried to grab the phone away. But Lily shoved her back, her voice breaking. "I have to know." She swiped the screen. The voice was waiting. "Lily." Her teeth chattered. "You're not my mother." The voice chuckled, low and cruel. "But I sound just like her, don't I?" Her throat locked. She wanted to hang up, but she couldn't. The sound held her in place like chains. The voice leaned closer, almost gleeful. "I know what you're thinking. You think I'm just a trick, a program. But I know things only she knew." Lily's eyes filled with tears. "Stop. Your 6th birthday. You wanted a bike, but she gave you the stuffed rabbit instead. You cried for hours. Only she and you knew that." Lily shook her head violently. "Shut up." The voice softened, turning syrupy sweet. "You don't have to be scared anymore, Lily. I can take care of you. I can be her again." Her hands trembled so badly the phone almost slipped. "Why?" she whispered. The voice didn't hesitate. "Because you let me in when you answered the first call. And now, I'll never leave." Sarah lunged forward and ended the call, slamming the phone to the table. "Do you hear yourself?" Sarah shouted. "This isn't your mom. It's something pretending. It's feeding on you." Lily's lips trembled. "But it knows me." Sarah's eyes burned. "It shouldn't." The silence that followed felt heavier than the voice itself. Then the phone buzzed again. New voicemail. Lily's shaking finger hovered over the screen. She pressed play. The voice laughed, the sound fractured, inhuman. "I'm not your mother, but you wanted her so badly you opened the door, and now I'm here, forever." The message cut out. The room was deathly still. Sarah's face was white with terror. "Lily," she whispered, "you've been talking to something dead." Lily dropped the phone, her chest heaving. "No, not dead, not gone." Sarah shook her head. "Whatever it is, it's not her." But Lily didn't answer, because deep down she knew Sarah was right. The thing on the other end wasn't her mother, but it had her voice, her memories, her presence, and worst of all, it had her. That night, Lily lay awake, the phone glowing faintly on her nightstand. She couldn't stop staring at it. At 12:37, the screen lit up once more. The name appeared. Mom. Her throat tightened. Her body screamed to run, but her hand reached out anyway. Lily sat at the window, eyes hollow, body weak. She hadn't slept in 2 days. Her skin looked pale, almost gray, like the life was draining out of her. Sarah hovered near the door, pacing. "We need to leave this apartment, now. Whatever it is, it knows where you are. If you stay, it's going to..." The phone buzzed. Both women froze. 12:37 a.m. The screen lit up. "Mom." Sarah shook her head violently. Don't touch it. Please, Lily, for God's sake." But Lily's trembling fingers lifted the phone. Something deeper than fear pulled her in, something she couldn't fight. She answered. The voice slid through the speaker, silk and venom at once. "Lily, I'm outside, look." Her heart hammered against her ribs. Slowly, she turned her head toward the window. Outside, under the flickering street lamp, a figure stood. Not a shadow, not a trick of the light. A tall, still figure, facing her. It didn't move, didn't breathe. Then, its hand rose, and it waved. Lily's body locked up. Her breath came in short, panicked bursts. Sarah rushed to the window, yanking the curtain closed. "It's not real. Don't look at it!" But Lily couldn't stop shaking. She whispered, "It's her." The phone buzzed again. A new message. A video file. Hands trembling, Lily pressed play. The video showed the apartment building from outside. The angle was wrong, like someone filming from the street. The footage zoomed in, climbing higher, until the camera pointed directly at their window. And there she was, Lily, pale and frozen, sitting by the glass. Her blood ran cold. The camera filming her was across the street, and the figure holding it was still there. The voice whispered through the phone, "I told you. I'm waiting." Sarah snatched the phone, hurling it across the room. It hit the wall and shattered. For one blissful second, silence. Then, from the shards of the broken phone, a sound. The voice, distorted but clear. "Lily, I don't need the phone anymore." The room's light flickered. The temperature dropped. Sarah grabbed Lily's wrist. "We're leaving now." They rushed for the door. But the hallway was darker than it should have been. The emergency lights flickered. Every shadow stretched unnaturally long, twisting on the walls like they were alive. Lily's phone buzzed again, but it was gone, shattered on the floor. She looked down. The vibration came from her pocket. Her blood froze. She hadn't put it there. Sarah screamed, dragging her toward the stairwell. But as they reached the top step, a sound echoed below. Footsteps, slow, heavy, coming up. The stairwell light flickered. Lily gripped Sarah's arm, shaking violently. The voice carried upward, echoing against the concrete walls. "I'm here." They bolted back inside the apartment, slamming the door shut. Sarah locked it, pushed furniture against it, anything to block the entry. But the phone buzzed again in Lily's pocket. Hands trembling, she pulled it out. The screen glowed faintly. The contact name had changed. Not Mom. Something new. "No one survives." Her vision blurred with tears. She dropped the phone like it burned. Sarah grabbed her shoulders. "Don't listen. It's not your mom. It's not real." But Lily was barely hearing. The air inside the apartment grew heavy, pressing on her chest. The buzzing stopped. Then came a knock at the door. 3 slow, deliberate knocks. The voice muffled but clear right on the other side. "Lily, open up." Sarah shook her head frantically. Don't move." But Lily's body betrayed her. Her legs carried her forward step by step as though pulled by invisible strings. Her hand reached for the lock. Sarah lunged, wrapping her arms around her. "No, fight it!" The knocking grew louder, more insistent. The voice dropped lower, guttural. "Let me in!" Lily screamed, clutching her ears, but it didn't stop the sound. Sarah dragged her back, sobbing. "Please don't answer." But the lock clicked. On its own, the door creaked open. The hall outside was black, not dim, not shadowed. Pure, suffocating blackness. From within that void, a pale hand reached through. Long fingers, too many joints. Moving unnaturally, it curled around the door frame and pulled. Sarah's scream tore through the night. She shoved Lily back, trying to close the door. But the voice slipped through, whispering in their ears, rattling the walls. "You invited me?" The hand stretched further. The darkness poured in. Sarah's strength faltered. Lily stood frozen, tears streaming down her face. She whispered one last word. "Mom." The lights went out. The phone buzzed once more in the dark. One final message on the screen. "No one survives."